Welcome to the deep dive. We cut through the noise, get straight to the essential insights. Today, we're diving into something that, well, it presents a really jarring contrast. Think about this. A huge, multi-billion-dollar digital platform, known everywhere, right, as this bright, fun, child-friendly space. Playground for millions of kids. Now, what if I told you that behind that colorful front, something much darker has been going on?
Yeah, that's right. This deep dive, we're going to be unpacking some really serious stuff. Allegations of child exploitation, corporate negligence, all within Roblox, the company worth billions. And the core tension, like you said, is this huge gap between the image, the careful family-friendly brand, and the, frankly, unsettling reality people are reporting on the platform.
Exactly. So our mission today is really to unpack these claims, these disturbing reports. We need to look at Roblox's response, which is controversial, to say the least,
Yeah.
especially towards whistleblowers trying to flag these problems, and ultimately figure out what this all means for online safety, because, this goes way beyond just Roblox.
Right. And to do that, we're drawing on a couple of key sources. There's a powerful YouTube video where a whistleblower shares a very personal story. And alongside that, a detailed report looking into the company's, well, alleged dark side. We want to understand not just what happened, but, why it matters to you listening.
Okay, so let's start with the person right at the center of this. He's a 22-year-old named Schlepp. Now, you'd think someone working to protect kids would get, I don't know, praised. But Schlepp is actually facing a cease and desist letter from Roblox, a legal demand to stop, and even threats of lawsuits from the Roblox Corporation itself. It's a pretty shocking situation, especially when you hear what he's actually been doing.
Yeah, what's really striking here and pretty effective based on the reports is the real-world impact Schlepp's work has had. He and his team, they've actually helped get 6 predators arrested just in the last year, people operating within the Roblox community. And get this, almost all of those arrested admitted they'd done similar things before, right there on Roblox. That's significant action coming from just a private citizen.
So, okay, he's getting results, helping law enforcement. You'd think Roblox would be grateful, maybe work with them. But their reaction was the complete opposite. What did they actually do? And I mean, what kind of message does that send?
Well, instead of working together, Roblox just terminated every single account Schlepp had ever had since he was like 8 years old. And this included accounts he was actively using to talk to predators for his investigations. They've also banned him completely from accessing the platform in any way. Their official reasons. They accuse Schlepp of hurting their player base and engaging in simulated child endangerment conversations. If you connect the dots, it really looks like an attempt to, control the story rather than tackle the actual problem.
Wow. But what makes someone take on something so intense, so dangerous? Schlepp's motivation isn't just abstract good deeds. It's deeply personal, really harrowing, actually. He was groomed on Roblox himself as a kid, about 14 or 15. By a popular developer on the platform. He was supposed to gore NSFW stuff, and it led to a suicide attempt. Just awful. His mom apparently contacted Roblox back then, but was, as he puts it, brushed off. And that same predator went on to groom other kids before finally getting banned years later. So that trauma, you can see how it fuels what he's doing now, trying to stop it happening to others. It takes incredible courage to turn something that devastating into, well, this kind of crusade.
And this really brings up a big question about how reporting actually works or doesn't work at Roblox. It highlights a major disconnect. Schlepp's been really frustrated, apparently, with Roblox saying he's not reporting things fast enough or he's not using the right channels. But he claims he spent a whole year just trying to find these official channels. He even sent physical binders, like actual paper binders full of chat logs, straight to their headquarters. And despite all that, the only direct communication he got back from Roblox was that cease and desist letter. It really paints a picture of a company that seems pretty unresponsive when people try to help formally from the inside.
And that's such a stark contrast to how the police see it, right? You mentioned law enforcement. Departments like the Hoffer Police Department, they've actually thanked him publicly for the info he's provided, said it directly led to arrests. The difference of how Roblox sees him versus how law enforcement sees him, it couldn't be clearer. Okay, so we've heard Schlepp's story, his individual fight, and it's deeply concerning. But to really get the full picture, we need to understand the scale we're talking about here, the platform itself, just how big is Roblox, and why does that size make these safety issues even more challenging?
Oh, it's enormous. Absolutely huge. We're talking over 100 million active users daily. So that sheer size Yeah, it makes the platform a massive focus point for child safety concerns. The allegations are really disturbing. Grooming, kidnapping, sexual abuse, claims that the platform enables this stuff. And there are specific documented cases backing this up, like that August 2025 lawsuit from an Iowa family. Their 13-year-old was groomed and kidnapped all through Roblox chat. And this statistic is alarming, really shows the scale. Over 13,000 reports of child exploitation related to Roblox were made just in 2023. To NCME, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And a key thing here seems to be how predators operate. They often pretend to be kids themselves, using the actual games to make contact, sort of weaving the grooming into the gameplay.
Wow. And the evidence of this activity happening right on the platform, it's chilling. And often, it's the users themselves pointing it out. The community often outs predators, but the reports say Roblox is just incredibly slow to react. Like, think about the examples. One guy reportedly groomed 150 kids back in 2019. Another predator arrested after 18 months. 18 months despite multiple reports to Roblox. And then there are these condo games, designed apparently to simulate sex, exposing kids to explicit stuff. And reports even say groups are trading child abuse material using Roblox bios and linking out to Telegram. It feels like a system that's either completely overwhelmed or we're just not prioritizing this enough.
Which leads us right into these core allegations of corporate negligence. Moderation failures, they market themselves heavily as safe for kids, but the claims are they lack effective age checks, effective moderation. There are even claims, quite serious ones, that Roblox might be indirectly profiting from predator activity. Not intentionally, perhaps, but just by the sheer volume of user engagement, even if some of that engagement is, well, illicit. The platform's filters are reportedly bad, letting through gore, sex-related games. Parents have reported seeing simulated sex acts, even in games meant to be safe, like Adopt Me. And you mentioned reports. The Hindenburg Report, which is known for its deep dives into companies, didn't just talk about financial stuff like inflated user numbers. It specifically called out severe safety lapses at Roblox. That adds another layer of sort of external validation to these concerns.
Yeah, and Schlepp's own experience really drives this home. He reported a credible threat made in a Roblox game, targeting the Las Vegas sphere, no less. He reported it to Roblox and the FBI. The FBI acted fast, made an arrest. But the person who made the threat, according to Schlepp, they were not banned by Roblox. Unbelievable. And we're not talking about hidden corners of the site here, some of these problematic games. Public Bathroom Simulator, which apparently had 36 male for younger in its description. Naked Shower Together. Dollhouse Roleplay, which is allegedly linked to an FBI group. These games apparently had millions of plays. Yeah, millions. It just makes you ask, how? How are these allowed to exist, let alone get so popular on a kid's platform?
And this one detail is particularly worrying. It feels really symptomatic of a deeper issue. The platform allows the word lolly as part of a username. Now, that term lolly, it's widely known, unfortunately, to be associated with a community focused on sexualizing young girls, specifically fictional girls around 9 years old. Allowing lolly as username, it's not just a minor oversight, it feels like a massive red flag. A failure in their filtering system that suggests either a profound lack of awareness about the language child exploiters use, or worse, it's a sort of tacit acceptance of it. That single detail, on a platform with millions of kids, it speaks volumes about their current safety measures.
Right.
Okay, so this all leads us into a really complex area, this debate around vigilantism versus corporate accountability. On one side, you have law enforcement, some officers anyway, saying, hey, this information from people like Schlepp is useful. It helps us make arrests. Demonstrably useful. But then there are valid concerns too. Could private citizens acting on their own accidentally mess up ongoing police investigations? Or maybe just make predators more careful, harder to catch later. It's a tricky balance.
Did we try to see Roblox's side of it, even if it sounds like an excuse to some? One argument they can make is, look, we oppose these vigilante actions because they might interfere with law enforcement, or because non-officials, people not trained for this, could make mistakes in these really sensitive situations. It's a potentially valid point in theory, but it loses a lot of weight when it's paired with all these allegations of their own inaction on the platform. Yeah, and it's important to clear up something often misunderstood here, the idea of entrapment. Legally, entrapment is something only law enforcement officials can do, not private citizens. So when a private citizen like Schlepp engages with a suspected predator, that's not legal entrapment. That distinction matters when we talk about these private investigations.
Definitely. And this brings us to the absolute core of it, I think, the liability issue, especially for a public company. There's a strong argument that Roblox is terrified of bad press, of potential new regulations that could seriously hurt their brand, scare off users, impact their stock price. Remember, they went public in 2021. So now they have this legal thing called fiduciary responsibility, basically an obligation to act in the best financial interests of their investors. And that fiduciary responsibility, it's not just jargon, it creates this fundamental tension. Do they protect investors by maybe downplaying problems, keeping things quiet? Or do they protect users by taking bold, potentially expensive public action? The key insight really is how that legal duty can, maybe unintentionally, push them towards inaction on safety if fixing it looks like a financial hit.
But there's a big counter-argument, isn't there? That ignoring a massive pedo problem, as these sources put it, could actually cause far greater long-term damage, more regulation, permanent brand tarnish damage, much worse than tackling it head-on now. So maybe the current strategy, if that's what it is actually a really short-sighted way of looking at that fiduciary duty, risking long-term health for short-term appearances.
Yeah, what seems clear from all this discussion is the call for regulation is getting louder. It feels undeniable, really. A platform this huge, especially one used so heavily by children, probably can't stay unregulated like this forever. It just doesn't seem realistic. Things like mandatory strict ID verification, much better content moderation, they feel almost inevitable down the line. The question isn't really if, but probably when and how.
And finally, it's really important to remember this isn't just about Roblox, is it? Other big platforms, Discord, Reddit, they're wrestling with very similar issues. Moderation, safety challenges. It points to a much wider industry-wide problem we're facing in this digital age. We need systemic solutions, not just platform-specific ones. So let's quickly recap. We've really dug into this deep tension at Roblox, this incredibly popular kids platform facing truly serious child safety issues, and its response, which has been complex, controversial, especially towards people trying to shine a light on the problems.
Absolutely. And the stakes are just incredibly high here. This isn't just about corporate policies or share prices. It's about the real, profound impact these problems have on millions of young people. And it raises huge questions about corporate responsibility in our increasingly digital world.
So I'll leave you with this thought. In an era where these digital spaces, they really blur the lines between fun and danger, between play and peril. How should we as a society really strike that balance between encouraging innovation and profit and ensuring the fundamental safety and well-being of our most vulnerable users, especially our kids?